Well, this morning we're going to talk about, Carrie and I and Becky are going to talk about technology in the workplace. Now, I have to say that this is not an area that I am incredibly comfortable in, but as you all know, it's becoming more and more common, and there are some amazing ways that we can support individuals so that they can use technology and become more independent. So, we'll just start the slideshow. Do I hit it? You do. Okay. Technology in the workplace. The most important roles are those associated with supporting an individual with a disability and finding real work for real pay, while also providing valuable services to the business. As you all know, I think that employment people are like the best. I'm very biased. I know that, and I'm sorry, but I just think you have a hard job. But when you find somebody a job, you are transforming a life. And I love you for doing that each and every day. Okay, Carrie. Why it matters. Technology, as we know, is reshaping how people work across all industries. It's increasing access, independence, and job retention. It creates new opportunities for people with disability, and it aligns with competitive integrated employment goals. The key message for this is technology is not an extra anymore. It's an essential. What is workplace technology? It's assistive technology. It's mainstream workplace tools. It's mobile apps. It's cloud platforms, it's automation and AI supports, and we can all start simple with a phone or a watch. Coaching workplace supports. Employment specialists who coach must be familiar with a variety of workplace supports and be ready to facilitate the right type and intensity of support to help the new hire become successful. Now, we don't expect you, because we don't expect ourselves to be familiar with everything out there. But we know that a lot of you know a little about a lot. And so as we go through this, if we're mindful to share with one another what we've learned, what's been great, we're going to all advance. We will, from a state perspective, always try to share with you what we know. But we know we have geniuses out there doing this every day. So if you come up with the tool, please don't hesitate to share it with us. The goal is to assist the worker in becoming independent of the coaching support as quickly as possible. Therefore, it is critical for coaching support to learn how to recognize and facilitate natural and existing supports in the workplace. The role of the employment provider is to assess technology needs during the job development. So be aware of what might be beneficial for this person. When you're going through what their challenges are, you might realize, oh, they have a challenging time with time management. They don't know exactly how to sequence different tasks. And those questions, of course, can be asked when you're with a group of people that know them well. How do they need support? Train the job seekers and employers at the job site, right? Because you want to come alongside them, and monitor the effectiveness and adjust the supports. What works in one setting might not work in another, as we all know. Go ahead, Carrie, that was perfect. You're good. The benefits of technology integration is it improves productivity and accuracy. It supports independence and reduces job coaching over time. The reality is, as we look at our world and we realize, we have been for many years very dependent upon a coach to check in and be there. We're learning more and more within our entire system, whether it's in residential, whether it's in employment, that the more we can do through technology, the more independent the person becomes, I know you've all had those individuals that don't want you to show up at the workplace. We've all had those folks. It's a way to allow them to be independent and yet you're able to keep those lines of communication open. It supports independence and reduces the job coaching, enhances communication, and expands job options. Universal design. This is an important word to learn if you're an employment person. And it just means you're creating products and environments and systems that are accessible and usable to all people. Example, smart thermostats, motion activated voices, voice assistants, curb cutouts. How many of you have handles where you have a lever rather than a knob? All those things are considered universal design because they might have been created for somebody that has a disability, but we all use them each and every day and we don't notice the difference. Go ahead, Carrie. Reasonable accommodation, change, modification, or adjustment to a job or work environment that allows a person with a disability to form essential job functions. Remind me, Carrie, what is this QR code doing here again?
The QR code is to kind of offset some technology, assistive technology accommodations. If you guys use this QR code, it'll take you to Jan Accommodations website where you can select a person's disability and it'll give you a list of accommodations that are typical for that person's disability.
And Carrie, explain cool. Jan for us.
Jan stands for Job Accommodation Network. It is a great resource. It houses a lot of tools and information. So if you guys are ever questioning accommodation specifically, like how to word requesting a reasonable accommodation, what a reasonable accommodation might be, how to work with an employer to request that, Jan is a perfect website for it. It's a nationally hosted website.
It is very, very good, and they're very helpful. All right, we can go to the next one.
All right.
Category, so, go ahead. Is it Carrie? Go for it. Carrie's going to get into the technical part.
We're going to get into the fun things.
Yeah,
the practical strategies and resources. This is my jam. This is what I enjoy. So today we're going to discuss 5 categories of workplace technology with keeping in mind that technology is always evolving and finding new ways to support people in the workplace. These technologies can be used to enhance independence in the workplace for people with disabilities, but also for ourselves, like the QR code on the previous page. I think you might be surprised by how much technology you are using in your job today to be efficient and the best at what you can do. The 5 categories we're going to focus on is communication tools, task support tools, organization and time management tools, sensory and environmental supports, and training and learning tools. And just as a brief disclaimer, BHDD OIDD does not endorse, guarantee, or assume responsibility for any products mentioned on this webinar. All views and opinions expressed are those of Susan Davis and Carrie Walker. We strongly encourage users to conduct your own independent research before making these decisions. So for communication tools, communication technology can be used for employees to enhance communication for those who may be difficult to understand or have limited verbal communication. Technology can be used for expressive or receptive technology. For example, for someone who is nonverbal but needs to share information from a manager to a coworker, a phone could be used to record a video of the manager and share that with the coworker. That allows the person to be the main point of contact in sharing information with the team, and the team benefits because information is not lost from one person to another in a game of telephone. How many of you guys have lost information when you're translating for your boss? I probably have done that. Intelligent voice and communication tools are becoming smarter and more context aware, enabling users to control devices, access hands-free information, and improve communication in the workplace. All right, so here are some practical communication apps and tools that you and the people you serve can use on the job. So Proloquo to Go is text-to-speech app. Voice It is speech recognition technology, which is really cool. So for someone who is difficult to understand, the app learns the person's speech pattern, and then they use the AI voice to speak clearly to the communication partner. Let's go. Alexa is a more common communication device that maybe the people you support are already using. Alexa is Amazon's cloud-based voice assistant that answers questions, plays music, manages schedules, turns lights on and off, and more. Maybe an employee is working at Walmart and stocking the shelves, and they forgot what aisle to stock coffee. They could use Alexa to find out what aisle coffee is on, because Walmart houses all their aisle information on their website. So speech to text would be the opposite of Proloquo or similar AAC apps where someone is able to express themselves but unable to take notes. So for speech to text, they can open their notes app in their phone, click the microphone, and talk to the phone to remember something later in that day. So maybe their boss asks them to lock up at the end of the day by entering a specific 6-digit code. So they can write themselves a reminder in the app of the 6-digit code. Otter AI is something that some of you may have accidentally signed up for. I know we have AI in this chat currently. It is real-time captioning during virtual meetings. If you sign up for it, it will follow you wherever you go and then send you a brief summary of notes and action items and the highlights during a meeting. A case scenario would be an employee uses Proloquo app on their communication device to share with their coworker that a customer needs help. All right, in the chat box, get ready to answer a question. Do you guys use speech to text? Yes, love that. Love that you're already using it. Woo. Very, very simple assistive technology where it's already integrated into our natural lives. I love all the yeses. Sometimes, absolutely, if you're not already using it, it's very easy to start integrating. I know Becky, for example, sorry to call you out, Becky, uses this to communicate to any of her friends on her personal phone. A lot of times she will hit the microphone on her phone and start talking into it rather than typing. Nice, awesome. All right. What is an example, if you are using it, or if you're sometimes using it, what's an example of what you're using speech to text for? Documentation. Oh, we love that answer, Jennifer. That makes us happy. Use it to text your clients. It's awesome. Taking notes. Yes. Such a great way to, in real time, discuss with your, to make notes of what's happening and then quickly move on to the next item. I know I can talk quicker than I can write. Note taking, documentation, faster communication. Awesome. Reminders. That's a good one. You don't have to like it. It's okay. I know Susan Davis sometimes feels like she's in that boat and she will call me and we will talk through assistive technology to slowly learn, or my mom. So it's okay if you don't like it. Totally understand.
But I do use it. So
I think with practice, it gets easier. And it just takes time to get to understand how to use the assistive technology. What types of communication tools could benefit the people you serve? You can answer one of these or you can answer multiple. Or if you have another idea of a communication tool that could benefit the people you serve that I didn't mention, would love to hear it. All of them. Awesome. Quote. I love an AAC device. Awesome. I'm glad we mentioned some resources that everyone could find useful and beneficial to their people. A lot more of all of them than I was expecting.
yeah.
Nice. Awesome. I think Otter AI is such a great resource to use in virtual meetings. We don't typically allow it in state government where we are, but I do outside of this job see the benefits in the RAI meetings. All right. So wait, this one. So task support tools. Technology can be used to create task lists for employees who need help focusing on tasks. Maybe this is something that you can relate to if you make a chore list or a grocery list to help you stay on track when you are shopping through the grocery store. If I don't make a list, everything will end up in the cart and I will spend way more money than I meant to. Or if I don't write my list of chores for the weekend, I promise you I will do nothing for the weekend and not get my chores accomplished. A task list, whether it's written, visual, or videos, can help an employee transition from one task to the next to stay efficient and limit need for questions. Task list is a process of breaking down a very complex goal or activity into smaller, manageable, and step-by-step actions. Job coaches should become familiar with how to create a task list and use it to collect data related to productivity. A fun way to testing your skills to break down a task is to sit down with your coworkers or a group of people you work with and write down step-by-step tasks to making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And I actually have a little video that we're going to watch as an example of how difficult this can actually be.
I can't hear it, Carrie. There you go.
I'm not hearing it.
I don't
still.
hear anything. I wonder if when your mic is off, it turns it off for us, Carrie.
And jelly sandwich. Do you guys think you can write down some instructions and teach me how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
Yeah.
Then do it.
I knew we were gonna do this. I heard Dad talking to Mom.
Choke yourself on my hand. Sometimes they do what you tell them.
I'm done.
Step 1. Get 2 pieces of bread out. Got 'em. Get a butter knife and get some PB. Take 1 piece of bread, spread it around with the butter knife.
No, Dad, with the peanut butter.
I'm just doing what it says. It says take 1 piece of bread, spread it around with the butter knife.
Hold on.
Get some jelly, rub it on the other half of the bread.
No, Dad, open the jelly.
Well, it doesn't say to do that. Put the breads together on top of each other. Take a big bite. This doesn't taste like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Fail.
I love this example of creating a task analysis or a tasks list to support people with disabilities or to support people. We often assume that that would have been enough instructions. Like we would have made assumptions there. But people we support can be literal with no room for assuming they know to do an activity. Here's a situation at a job. An employee is working at Subway and is being trained to take orders from the drive-thru, and you may say, go ask the customer what they would want, and they would open the drive-thru window and say, what do you want? No customer greeting skills, no hello, how are you? How can I help you today? What are you looking for? You have to be very specific with the task analysis, task support list. So some practical support apps and tools that you can use for the people you serve to become more independent. Video modeling is used in all aspects of working with people with disabilities, and it involves recording a video of someone correctly performing a specific task and showing it to the learner. These recordings can be added to a playlist within the employee's phone for them to use as a reference. Within the Employees Notes app, you can write a list of tasks or reminders for them to do for themselves. This could be a great tool to use if their list of tasks is different every day. Maybe Monday to Wednesday, they are doing secretarial work where they are filing papers, making copies, and sending faxes. But on Thursdays, they are learning new skills to add to their job duties. So for the next 2 months, on Thursday, they will go through the voicemails and write down phone numbers and identify if the voicemail is priority with a red marker, moderate priority with yellow marker, and low priority with green marker. Even just saying that, I need a task, I need that written out so that I remember what to do. And so what are people with disabilities that we support? The Todoist app is a step-by-step task list. And the Notion app is an all-in-one digital workspace that combines note-taking, project management, databases, and wikis in one. So, case scenario, the employee follows a checklist for stocking shelves and reducing errors. So video modeling, let's quickly watch this video of video modeling for sending a fax. This is something that I could use a video modeling for, because anytime I have to send a fax, I have to go find a coworker who knows how to use the machine or go find IT.
Paper goes face down. You will push 6 to get your outside line. Then you will dial your number. 1, area code, access code. Let's see. Finish the number. Push start. It will go through.
So that is an example
Paper
of
goes-
video modeling and how you guys could have that set up for the people that you serve, so that they can use that as a reference point. Self-modeling is best practice. So if you are able to get footage of the person correctly doing the task and they can refer back to themselves as the expert of that activity, that is best practice, but not always a place that they are able to start at. And then resume and portfolio, using footage to demonstrate strengths and skills. And then Susan, this is you.
Let me just ask Carrie one more thing. We did the thing about Jan about accommodations. Have we talked about the phone being an accommodation specifically, or is that later?
We have not. You just kind of said start simple with a phone or a watch.
Okay, so some people, I'm just throwing this out. Some employment people have said to me, well, they can't take their phone to work because they're not allowed to have phones on the job. And most of us understand that. You can't be, playing a game, and you can't be texting your girlfriend while you're at work. But if it is being used as an accommodation, so it has a video of how to run the fax machine, or it has a list with pictures as to what the person should be doing next, or it has a reminder on it to come back from a break, then it's used as an accommodation, and that is a totally legal thing. The person just needs to understand that's the only reason and way that they can use their phone. So competency language for a resume refers to using specific descriptive terminology to quantify your proficiency level in languages, technical skills, or core professional abilities. So basically what this means is, if you're looking for a job in cosmetology, you're going to be using language that makes sense to people in cosmetology. Color, tools, those kinds of things that are designed for that particular profession. Versus if you're talking about welding, you're going to have things like MIG, TIG, whatever the other type of welding is, and understand and embed some of that in the language. So if you're trying to assist someone in going for a particular job, you're going to want to embed that. Instead of just listing skills, you want to use standard recognized terms. Competency language for professionals who assist individuals with disabilities in securing employment often use employment specialists, job coach, or vocational rehab counselors. Focus on person-centered planning, customized job development, and advocacy with competitive integrated employment. We've already talked about the fact that I prefer that you use like employment specialists. I know some people call them career developers, whatever, something that doesn't say job coach, because that can cause confusion to a to an employer. The other little thing I want to say, and you can take this, whether it's with our folks or it's with anyone you know. I recently shared this with a friend of mine, actually this weekend, was that when you're looking at a job and they state in the job description the type of person that they're looking for, somebody who is an initiator, somebody who's responsible, someone who is timely, someone who is friendly, whatever their words are, if you embed those words in the resume or in your cover letter, that will help. Because anymore what's happening, and I hope you're not just filling out applications on Indeed online without knowing there's a job, because that's like totally not best practices, but that's a side note. If you are filling out an application for an employer that you do know that there's a job and you've got embedded in that resume some of those words, if they use AI, it's going to take the job description that AI has and match it with your resume because they use similar words. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's just a tip for anybody these days looking for a job. Okay, Carrie. Out of the box ideas. Some of you may have done this. You can do, there are resources in how to make a video resume. Sometimes if you have someone that's not good about expressing their competencies, it's easier to show them in a short video or for them to show an employer in a short video. If you're trying to get a job for somebody who's a stalker and you've been able to do a community-based assessment and they've been very successful at stalking, and you take a 30-second video of them, that's going to hold a lot of weight because we know that pictures speak louder than words. So it gives the employer an opportunity to see that, yes, indeed, Jeff does know how to read the codes and match them up so he's got the items in the right aisle. And also there's YouTube videos on ideas of how you can create these video resumes. Go ahead, Carrie.
I would also say that we as a society are getting very used to consuming information in 30-second to 1-minute videos. Whether you are watching TikTok, Facebook, or Instagram Reels or short YouTube videos, that is kind of where we are going. And so creating a short 30-second to 1-minute video of the person, like Susan said, performing the activity or just talking about themselves can be a great way for an employer to receive that information. It might be easier to watch that video than to read over a resume. And
you might have to do a resume first because otherwise you can't import a video on the computer.
Yes.
But once you get to the interview, you have that as a backup. So go ahead, Carrie. I'm sorry.
Here is a little resume.
Hello, my name is Hannah Rose Nella and I am currently applying for the position of full-time receptionist in Knightsbridge. A little bit about myself. I am a qualified beauty therapist and makeup artist. I've worked in the industry for the last 4 years. Over the last year, I worked as a receptionist in a hotel and also for my parents' business. Whilst working at the front desk, I realized how much I loved dealing with people in this manner. This is what led me to apply for the position today. I feel I would benefit your team immensely as I have both beauty and office backgrounds and am an extremely dedicated and fast learner. Thank you for your time. I hope to hear from you soon.
Just a quick breezy example of how easy simple a video resume could be. All right, in the chat box, answer the following question. What types of task support apps and tools could benefit the people you serve? Video modeling, prompting, resume, the Notes app, Todoist app, the Notion app, or please give us other examples. So the next topic is organization and time management. Does it sound familiar? The employee does not return from a 15-minute break, transition to the next task, or clock in on time. I'm sure that sounds absolutely familiar for you guys. Possible solutions would be setting alarm on phone or watch, reminders, or a note taker. So just practical strategies, apps, and tools to use for the people you serve. Google Calendar is an app that can be used on Google, Samsung, and Apple devices, which offers more customizable features to organize events, tasks, and birthdays. My coworkers are always surprised that I remember their birthday. But the truth is, when someone says my birthday is da date, I open my Google Calendar and I put it in my Google Calendar. It is not anything special. I have a terrible memory. I need an accommodation of Google Calendar to remind me when it's someone's birthday. And it's fantastic. People think I'm really good at remembering their birthday, but the truth is I just have an accommodation in place. A timer is a great tool for someone that has difficulty transitioning from one task to the next. So for example, if they are transitioning from sweeping to mopping, when the timer goes off, you teach them to move to the next task. This can help them anticipate how long they can sweep before it's time to move on, because time is a difficult concept.
The other thing is, you don't even have to use, honestly, if they don't have an app, I mean, there are egg timers out there.
Yes.
I have used egg timers to say, okay, I'm only going to do this exercise for 15 minutes, and it's the old twist and start. So it doesn't have to be expensive to use some supports. Go ahead, Carrie.
But if they already have a phone,
right,
this is already embedded.
Sure.
In there.
Obviously, if they have that. If they don't, though.
Yes, lots of low-cost solutions. Smartwatch are discreet and integrated into society already. More than half the people I know are wearing smartwatches. We already use them as an accommodation or assistive technology without realizing it. You may set a timer, reminder, task list, video modeling, or use it for health reasons. So a real life case scenario would be using it as reminders to prompt breaks, task transitions, and shift smart times. All right, so what of those following resources do you see would be beneficial for the people that you serve? Maybe you have someone in particular in mind. Maybe you have ideas that I did not write that you could share with the group.
And please.
Sometimes the environment can cause distractions and provide challenges for the employees. Preventing the distractions using basic technology can provide the employee with the ability to focus on their work. Technology can be simple, like for sensory and environmental supports. Employees may need technology to decrease stimuli, whether that is light or sound, or physical stimuli. We have seen sensory and environmental supports become normalized to use since we have moved to the South Carolina Health State campus, as we all are underneath fluorescent lights and in cubicles. So whether that is sound machines or a leaf that goes over the cubicle to block out light, we have seen that become very normalized as accommodations here. Some of the people we serve have heightened hearing, whether they hear objects making noise that the typical person doesn't hear. A common example of this is fluorescent lighting. Another example is one of my coworkers, coworker number 1, was driving for a site visit with another coworker, coworker number 2, and could hear the ticking of the coworker number 2's heart monitor. So people have, which is something I would never hear. So some people have increased heightened hearing that we need to be aware of, and provide accommodations for. Some visual stimuli that can be overwhelming is fluorescent lighting, busy wallpaper, open shelving, disorganized desk, busy carpets. This is one we don't often think about, but if the carpet has complex patterns, it can be overwhelming. Auditory fluorescent lighting also has auditory sound to it, conversations, passing traffic, or the phone off silent mode, and physical temperature, uncomfortable seating, or strong odors. So some examples: noise canceling and reduction headphones have advanced processing systems to detect and neutralize unwanted background noise before it reaches the ears. Headphones at work is becoming very normalized, whether it's being used to reduce noise or to add noise, such as the Brain.fm app, which is concentration support, specifically for focusing, becoming creative, or meditating to help those who need additional stimuli to focus. Screen filters or low light modes over Computer, help dim the bright white light to a low yellow light or low light. And then adjustable lighting. Employees can use headphones to reduce sensory overload in a busy workplace. All right, provide us some feedback. Out of those, what would be some beneficial resources or support for the people that you serve? Oh, I needed to throw in some different answers in there.
Is anyone using any of these currently? Like, do any of you have somebody that you've tried headphones or screen filters or anything that could tell us if it was helpful? The headphones. Stephanie,
headphones.
how did the headphones work? Was it helpful? We don't know. She's
think
using them.
Headphones is the most common one that we
Yeah,
visually
I would
see
think
and
that'd be
notice for
helpful.
people.
I think that would be helpful.
Training tools, workstation adaptations. So you guys can there are actual accommodations to change someone's workplace. Just looking at the chat, Stephanie said, wears them every day in class, helps filter out some of the noise so he focuses better. Yeah.
Terrific.
Headphones
That's
keep
great.
the person more focused.
That's great. Also screen modifiers.
I love
cool. Yeah, cool.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
So providing accommodations to the actual environment, there are specialized keyboards out there that can be modified for the person's ability. The split keyboard can help with wrist pain and carpal tunnel. A trackball mouse is a stationary mouse. So instead of moving the entire device, you roll a ball with your thumb or your fingers to move the cursor. A joystick mouse allows the employee to tilt the stick to move the pointer and utilize buttons for clicks. And here is a video of Stacy, who does a much better job explaining the eye gaze system.
Welcome back to Stewing with Stacy.
Here's what I've been stewing about. I spend most of the day on the computer. Either I'm working, scrolling on social media, shopping online, or just looking random stuff up. I can't use a regular keyboard. My fingers would hit way too many wrong keys. And if I tried using a mouse, I would mess everything up by clicking all over. When I was in college, my therapist tried to convince me to use an eye gaze system. An eye gaze system lets you use your eyes to type and control your computer. Being stubborn, I didn't want to because I thought I could type faster. During the pandemic, I decided to give the eye gaze a try. A company rep showed me how it works. The actual piece of equipment is about as big as a ruler. It has red lights to track my eyes, so it has to go at eye level. For me, it's at the bottom of my computer screen. Once it was mounted, I had to adjust the device to my eye movement. I had to look at a screen of dots. I looked at each dot until it burst. This is how it works. Instead of using a mouse, I use my eyes to move a transparent circle around the screen. It zooms in on the spot where I look and gives me different functions to choose from. When I look at the keyboard icon, a keyboard pops up. The keyboard has word prediction. I look at each letter that I want to type. After a few letters, 3 words pop up. If the word I want is there, I just look at the word for a second and it appears on the screen. If the word isn't an option, I continue to look at each letter to spell out the word. Pretty cool, right? Stewing back on things.
I think that is an incredible way to show how far we have come in technology. And we are really breaking the ceiling on what our people are capable of, like an IK system. And I love that Stacy explained it so incredibly well.
I realize this would
If I can figure out how to get out of here.
have saved me a lot of time.
Other workstation adaptations that I couldn't figure out how to get back to could include adjustable desk, footrest, document holders, and screen magnifications. There it is. Just took me a second. So AI, just be mindful that AI is always changing. Artificial intelligence assistants, I do love using AI, but you just need to be mindful of current lawsuits, verifying data, claims, and citations that AI is providing. It does not substitute human oversight, and please ensure that you follow your agency protocol with artificial intelligence. Some potential ways to use it is employment planning, resume tailoring, mock interviewing, and providing career direction. So an example of use, information input, where it says name, that is what I actually do. I write just name in big caps. I don't write the person's name. I don't write a letter. I want to ensure anonymousness. What's the word I'm trying to say?
Anonymity.
Anonymity for the person at all costs. So name is really what I write, not the person's actual name. So Name wants to work at Walmart in the technology area, but is unmotivated in particular about the job options. What are similar job options that may interest them? Something that I would ask AI. And AI really did tell me in-home tech support, electronic retail technician, auto care tech, and a telecom field technician, which just opens the options for what to look for that person and their interests.
Carrie, let me just say that Jason Bloomquist of APSI, who gave a seminar on technology in the workplace, and we have included some of his stuff, as you can see, he said if you use it to do job matches and you're going to use name and you're going to, as Carrie did, give a description of what the characteristics and interests are of the individual, to make sure if you use it again for job matches to do like name to, because what your AI will do is it will start building and taking all the skills from your first person and adding it to the second person. If you use the same name wants this, it'll add all the names together, if that makes any sense. So you'd need to say name one is interested in this, name two is interested in this, so that your AI distinguishes between separate people. Sorry, Carrie. Okay, do you want me to read this? Justin Bloomhurst of Capabilities suggests, remember to avoid using personal information. Start a new chat for each individual to prevent overlapping. That's what I just mentioned. Use Gen AI like ChatGPT to rewrite a candidate's volunteer or experience into corporate, quote, competency language for resumes. We talked about that depending on what they want to do. Upload a candidate's profile and a target job description to an AI tool to identify missing keywords and optimize the match score. And ask AI, what are the standard accommodations for a stalker or somebody with whoever, whatever their challenge might be, to prepare for employment negotiations. So if you have somebody who maybe doesn't read well or has trouble with colors or whatever the challenge is, how can you help to negotiate the job and overcome those things? I would also say that just as a common knowledge that currently Chat GPT is in a lawsuit. So even if you think to delete your information, it can't delete your information currently because of the lawsuit. So if that's the program that you use, just be mindful, it's going to be stored forever. Go ahead, Carrie. Am I doing this next one? No, you
I
are.
can do this one. So Google Gemini AI is another AI tool that you guys could use. Modifications to computers and equipment like the eye gaze, the adjustable desk. QMiner is a QR code that links to instructions or video modeling, which is really cool. So you guys could just have that taped in a person's like workstation. They could use that as a reminder to go to their instructions, their task analysis, their video modeling, a little bit more discreet. Using YouTube for task refreshers. The work autonomy app. Susan, you want to talk about the work autonomy app?
Do we have, we can hear somebody talking, I don't know. Do we have a link to that, Carrie? We do, right?
I don't know how far back that is. Do you want to keep going?
I didn't see it in there. So we can pull it up, right?
I can pull it up for you guys if you want to, just because of the time frame.
Yeah. So the Work Autonomy app is an app that was designed by a gal out in Washington. And you don't have to use all aspects of it, but it's very basic. And the reason that it'd be helpful to see a video, it used to be like, I don't know, $280 for it. It is now $30, right? $30. It writes out tasks. It can keep track of productivity, but you don't have to use all the features. You can either have pictures or videos or whatever. So one of the things that right now you might want to keep in mind, and obviously the ability for waiver to be paying for some of these things is all, happening. It's all transitioning. But today, if you needed to get it and the person paid for it themselves, they could put it on the impaired work related expenses along when they report their wages, and it's $30. They would get $15 back. But I loved it because in the video, I actually watched the two main gentlemen talk about the app themselves. They presented at APSI to like a room full of 60, 70 people. And one of the young men is nonverbal, Reed. So it's really interesting to see how successful he is at work using this tool. So do you have it, one of you?
I put it in the chat. Did you want to watch? I think it's about 4 minutes, right, Carrie? Do you want to watch it?
Yeah, I do. I think
Okay.
it's because a lot of people that was the number one thing those teachers liked.
Yeah. Carrie, you got it, or you want me to pull it? Okay.
In this film, the visual clips are of people using work autonomy at their work sites, still shots of the sections in the app, testimonials of individuals, and someone cooking using the app at home. The Work Autonomy app is designed to be used across all work environments. By setting work tasks to the employer's expectations, the individual using work autonomy is clear about exactly what their job entails. The purpose of this app is to strengthen independence, paid coaching, increase productivity, clarify duties, and track where support is needed. Individuals who use the Work Autonomy app report that they feel more confident, prepared, and excited about their employment.
Work autonomy helps to stay on track.
The messaging section of Work Autonomy is designed so that the individual can communicate personalized messages with their coworkers.
So you want June 20th off?
and capture messages from their coworkers
Yes, it's approved.
to share with others outside of work, like family. This way, there is direct communication between employee and employer. The schedule section is a personalized task list. To build the task list, the individual can take a video, photo, voice record, or type based on their personalized needs. The main tasks of their job are positioned left to right. If additional steps are needed for each task, they are added vertically. They can add as much detailed task analysis to track and master their job responsibilities. Timers and counters can be added to help track how long a task is taking, how long a task should take, and how many items have been completed. Both of these functions feed into their production charts. There is also a clock that can be set to alert when it's time to clock in, take a break, have lunch, or clock out. The library stores as many schedules as needed and can be accessed throughout the day. The production section in Work Autonomy features an earnings tracker and a production chart. The earnings tracker tracks how much money the employee is making and encourages financial literacy. The production chart is fed by the timers and counters in the schedules being used. These charts show the employees meeting the expectation of the employer. Out the gate, the supervisor can set the bar in the right place, track progress, and indicate where improvement needs to occur.
Looks good, yeah. We had a big bunch of freight today, didn't we? Well, good job. Thank you, Reed. Thank you very much.
These charts can be viewed daily, weekly, or monthly. Employees can email their charts directly to their supervisors at the end of their shifts.
I could be most efficient if I figure out ahead of time what my tasks are and then time myself. This is confirmed for me in reality is watching Reed work as he sticks to his clock. He knows exactly what he's going to do, what his next task is, how long the task should take him. So he's able to move from task to task to task and stay focused, which is something that I struggle with all the time too. So I think I have a lot to learn from Reed.
Once Work Autonomy is programmed and in use, it is recognized time and time again how quickly independence builds. The app can be used and adapted to almost any job. It is business-minded and efficiency-oriented. Work Autonomy is the first app that brings together the ease and enjoyment of the employee while maintaining high production and communication with coworkers and supervisors.
Well, the Work Autonomy app, I like it because it shows me what tasks I need to do. The real job coach isn't involved if the Work Autonomy app is in charge of that.
Work Autonomy can also be used outside of work. It can be used to do independent living skills, such as cooking or following a chores routine. People note that they are able to learn new skills easily and independently with Work Autonomy.
Work Autonomy taught me how to make my own breakfast. Work Autonomy rocks, yeah.
For more information, visit.
What's the next slide, Carrie?
We're going to run through the next slides because we have 3 minutes. We're just going to run through these. The driving simulator is a really cool resource. We actually have a driving simulator resource here in West Columbia called Scooter Scott Project, where the individuals start out in a virtual reality learning how to drive. And when they are able to drive in virtual reality, then they get upgraded to a golf cart, which is a very cool way to learn how to drive for people with disabilities. Anything else you want to say, Susan?
No, I think we have the app about Vanderbilt has a driving simulator app program that has been successful in helping people learn how to drive.
Wonderful little disclaimer again. Addressing common concerns, employers won't allow it. It's a job accommodation. The cost, many tools are free or low cost, or they already have like their phone or a smartwatch, or like Susan said, a simple timer from Walmart. Training, build it into the coaching. It's too complicated. Start simple. Start with something easy. If you're not interested in the speech to text, don't start there. Start with something that seems easier for you to accommodate. Best practices for implementation: start with the person's strengths and preferences. Use familiar mainstream tools if possible. Train in the real work environment. Fade
That's
support
critical
gradually.
in employment individual. You can't really do a lot of training to practice. You do need to train in the real work environment or it's career prep. Sorry, go ahead, Carrie.
And involve the employers early. Supporting the employers, support training and onboarding orientation. Focus on outcomes, not methods. Provide flexibility and tools. Encourage inclusive tech use, and always the universal design of learning. Susan, you know more about this than I do.
And Becky does too. You know, your work opportunity tax credit, well, that isn't really a part of it because that is for your employers, but the impaired related work expense is when, you know, we talk about in the training, when you report your wages, if you put on their transportation or you put on their, had to have a uniform, an app like the Work Autonomy app or the MeMinder, if the individual pays for that and has a receipt and sends that in with their earnings, half of the amount of that cost will come back to them in their SSI check. So I don't know how many of you assist people in terms of reporting their wages and have to put down transportation or include a uniform or anything else, but this would certainly fall under impaired related work expenses for an individual. And really, if it's $30 and they get it for 15, I mean, that's pretty reasonable. And on the website, it helps you, it tells you how to program it. So depending on what your needs are for the person. Anything else, Becky, that you want to add or no, or?
No, just know that with the waiver amendments that happened, so the waiver was, some of our waiver guidance was amended in November and January. And so you'll see some different things coming forward regarding, we're calling it enabling tech. So for those in the community especially, there'll be some items that may be covered in a different way. So just look forward to those changes. They'll be coming out very, very soon. And you'll receive notice of that. So remember that. A lot of the things that can be paid for with someone's waiver are not for those folks who are in a residential setting. So just kind of know that in the back of your head as well. It's for our community folks to access waiver funding for some of these items. But you'll get more information about that as we work with HHS to roll these out.
Any questions from anyone?
This
I think
webinar
this was
has
great.
been
Thank you, guys.
recorded and will be posted to the BHD website along with the PowerPoint. And you guys will receive certificates of attendance, hopefully by the end of the week.
Oh, that's
Thank you.
great.
Thank you so much for attending.
Thanks, guys. Have a great
you.
week, rest of the week.
Okay, have a great week. Thank you for
You
this
too.
webinar.
Have a great week.
Thank you.